All right, this morning as I was getting ready for work, Inu Blue asked me why companies won't pay us every week. And the answer to that question was more startling to me than I could possibly have ever imagined. And again, it includes my favorite word, control. When they pay you every 2 weeks, it gives the illusion that it's actually more money than it is. And there are so many different reasons for why they don't pay you. I'm going to outline all the basic ones in this video, but it really had me thinking about why they would make a system in which it directly benefits them, as usual, and always does harm to the people who are relying on paychecks and often using payday loans, pawning their possessions, or having to use the company's app in order to be able to borrow from your own next paycheck. Because when I worked at Walmart, that's what they ended up having to do because the employees weren't making it to their paychecks. They were getting maybe 3 or 4 days in and then realizing I can't afford to eat anymore. So they knew that there was a niche market for people that needed money right now. And so they just started adding a $6 fee to withdraw your own money. And nearly everyone that I knew that worked there had to use the Even app. Okay, let's get into our quick monologue. You ever wonder why your job refuses to pay you weekly? It's not because of payroll processing or company policy. It's because they need you struggling, just just enough to keep showing up. When your money is delayed, you're forced to budget tightly, stress over bills, and stay dependent on a job that barely pays enough to survive. Meanwhile, they're holding on to your paycheck, using it to make more money before finally giving you what you already earned. It's a scam, and we're all stuck in it. All right, that sounds like a good hook to me. Let's get right into talking point number one. If I sound tired in this video, it is. I am very tired. I'm recording this actually on Thursday to put up on Friday at 3. Um, and I am exhausted from working at Evil Corp all day. I got into it many times with with the senior manager today, and he realizes that the corporation is using him, and they will throw him out once they're done with him. All right, here we go. Biweekly pay keeps workers dependent on their jobs because they have to stretch their money longer. If people got paid weekly, they'd have more control over their finances and could leave toxic jobs more easily. This reminds me of what happened to me when I started working at the Insight Incorporated call center. I happened to leave my last job at a certain point in which, when I got there, there was a significant gap. Pay had just started for the next 2 weeks, which meant that I wouldn't be able to get a paycheck until the beginning of the following pay period. Because you always have to put one in and then they pay you after that. So you're actually earning your last paycheck every time you get paid. You're not earning on this one, you're getting paid for your last one. So I ended up coming into the middle of the bill cycle. Well, you know as well as I know that the proletariat lives paycheck to paycheck. And of course, inevitably, what happened to me in that unfortunate series of events was I became homeless because I didn't have the money to pay my rent. Paycheck to paycheck means if that next paycheck doesn't show up, you can't pay your bills. And their pay system doesn't care if you don't have any money. If you end up coming in on the wrong pay cycle, you're going to take it from behind. And that's what happened to me. And I was just like, I couldn't deal with losing one paycheck because it was just too much. And this whole idea of giving you financial control, why would the master want the slaves to have financial control? A big part of our society is controlling you to keep you at any given evil corp as long as humanly possible. They don't want you to escape. In fact, this was a discussion I was having today while various departments were fighting each other on who was going to use whose space. So, departments often get very territorial with their space, right? Accounting only wants accounting people in their area. HR only wants HR people in their area. Well, and technology doesn't matter. They'll put us anywhere. I've had to I've had to use server rooms as my office on many occasions throughout my life. And if you've ever been in one, they're extremely noisy and very cold. But that's all they would offer me. I couldn't have a regular office space. At my current job, they had sometimes they have problems with the air conditioning. In fact, I'm not looking forward to it, but every year they have problems with the air conditioning because they won't pay to get it fixed. So you have to sit in a room with large fans that are just echoing in your ears, and you don't want to work there. But guess what? The system ensures workers stay in survival mode, constantly chasing the next paycheck instead of building financial stability. They don't want you financially stable, putting you into terrible, toxic work environments and then wondering how long you'll stay, and then saying stupid things like, well, no one ever stays at this job, and there's a reason for that. You're creating financial stability on purpose to try to trick workers into staying at your company because you can't hold on to anyone because you treat people like crap. It's a vicious cycle. Talking point number two. Employers should hold on to payroll funds to collect interest, pay off their own debts, or invest, using your hard earned cash before you even see it. Now, this one really got me. Investing the money that they should be paying their workers. That to me is an evil, evil system. They get to use you to make money for them, and rather than paying you a living wage and paying you a weekly wage, they would rather use your hard work in order to benefit them more. Is anyone surprised by this? I'm not. I just needed to hear it. Because delaying pay for people that are already living the way that the proletariat lives, I think falls into the category of cruel and unusual. But I'm just one crazy guy out here on the internet saying crazy things and hoping that other people will stop long enough and look in my general direction, wad up a dollar bill, and hit me right between the eyes with it. That's why I'm here. Talking point number three. The longer they delay payroll, the more they benefit while workers struggle to budget between paychecks. It's not about payroll processing costs, it's about keeping more money in their pockets. I have never understood this about wealthy people. Why they have to be so damn greedy. And the fact is, being so damn greedy is the reason why they're rich and we're not. We're not out here looking to get rich from these hourly jobs, especially one making $20 an hour or less. It's not supposed to benefit you in any possible way. Working isn't the way that you're going to get out of poverty. Working hourly jobs is never going to get you anywhere in life. And the corporations don't want you to think about that. They don't ever want you to think about, well, we're really, really taking advantage of these people and we just want them to keep struggling. A person that's struggling, that's living in survival mode, doesn't have time to think about how they're going to get out of getting paid hourly. No, we just go to work, we get paid hourly, and there's nothing we can do. If that's one message you take away from this channel, is that the way that the system is currently set up, there's nothing that we can do to make our lives better. All of us work hourly pay jobs, and if you're unfortunate enough to get a salaried position, they're going to make you suffer for that salary. Most corporations want people working a minimum of 60 hours a week, with 20 hours of that time being free, and they tell you that the reason that you have to work those hours is because your salary. And I don't buy that. I think forcing people to work for free that are putting in a 40-hour work week and then getting paid nothing more, unless the salary is $250,000 a year, it's not enough to sacrifice your life, your relationships, any free time that you might have. I think about this every day. I no longer have time, even if I wanted to on the weekends or at night, to just sit down and relax and not think about work. Right now, I'm working. It's after 5 o'clock. It's Thursday and I'm working. Not because I want to, but because I have to. And these corporations think that this is funny. I almost certainly believe that there's a lot of laughing inside of the executive offices at their not understanding how anyone would work for minimum wage when minimum wage doesn't afford you anything. They have to be laughing at us constantly, understanding that there's no way out of the wage cage. It's like, can you imagine dropping a dollar bill into the wage cage and then having the proletariat fight each other for a dollar? That's what they've done to us. They're dropping in the pennies into our cages and we're running around scraping them up, knowing full well that the more pennies that we collect, the more likely we are to eat tomorrow. We don't collect enough pennies, well, we're going to have to go hungry. Talking point number 4. A bi-weekly or monthly paycheck feels bigger, tricking workers into thinking they're earning a lot more money than they actually are. This illusion makes employees less likely to push for better pay or demand more financial flexibility. And this comes right down to my favorite thing to say: financial stability. Every day that I go to work, I know that I don't have financial stability. It's the reason why every time I try to eat something at work, my stomach cramps up. My stomach is always in knots at work because I don't know when the end is going to come. I've been waiting for the end to come now for over 3 months, and it seems like no matter how long I wait, they're prolonging it. They're making the environment as toxic as humanly possible for me and hoping that I'll just go away. And what's that reason for? They don't want to pay unemployment benefits. Every company will try to twist the screws on your boys in order to get you to leave of your own accord. The more people that they can get to leave by their own means, by saying, you know what, I'm not going to take this anymore, they win. Because now they don't have to pay unemployment benefits. They're going to get someone that they're going to get cheaper, and a person that's going to be more desperate than you were. It's a win-win situation. This system isn't losing. High turnover rates may cost them a lot of money, but it must work in order to make more money because they're not correcting a system that has extremely high turnover. In fact, today I was talking to the senior manager this afternoon before I was leaving for work, and I told him, it's like, how do they expect us to stay at a corporation that has half of its workforce leaving every year? And that's not an exaggeration. Half of Evil Corp's employees leave every year because the pay is too low or they're just not meeting their performance metrics. Mainly they leave because the pay's too low. They don't want to pay market value. They don't want to pay living wages. They don't want to offer benefits. And that's something that came up again in my meeting with the senior manager, is that this company is moving to a model, and I've said this at least 100 times on this channel. They are moving to a model of employment that is gig work. They want people who are hourly pay. They are not actual employees. They're just gig workers. They come in, they work a few hours, they have no benefits, they have no job security. And at the end of the day, since you're a contractor, they don't have to provide you anything other than the job. No equipment, no guarantees, no vacation, no sick leave, no nothing. I would say that more than 60% of all the positions at Evil Corp are changing to this new model, where you're not a real employee, you're adjunct, or you're some other version of that. And I told you guys that this was going to happen. Corporations don't like spending money unless it's on executive bonuses. For the regular people, they want you suffering. They want you chasing the carrot. And the best way they can do that is to make certain that they give you as little as humanly possible as a benefit for working for them. And guess what? With millions upon millions of desperate workers out there, they're still going to find people who are going to take a job without health benefits. Because if that's all that you can find, it's what you're going to take. It's either choose the job without health benefits or choose not to eat. That's really what the decision that they're asking you to make. All right, final talking point. When workers run out of money between paychecks, they turn to credit cards, payday loans, or cash advances. Some companies profit from this system, offering payday loans or advanced paycheck services that trap workers in cycles of debt. If companies really cared about employees, they'd pay them weekly, like they do for contract and gig workers. Spoiler alert, at my evil corp, the contractors and gig workers do not get paid weekly. They still get a paycheck every 2 weeks for as many hourly hours that they put in. In fact, the entire afternoon shift at Evil Corp is all gig workers. They go through them so quickly that you can see a person that comes into to work one day and you may never see them again. And it's a great system of making certain that people can never feel safe. And that's something that I can say honestly every single day of my life. I never feel safe. I'm not safe about my housing. I'm not safe about my health care. I'm not safe about where I live, my rental. I'm not safe in my pro-mobile. There's almost no safety built into our environments. There are no social safety nets whatsoever. Because if there were social safety nets in our society, we wouldn't have homeless people. What we really do have right now is a growing lower class and more people finding themselves as homeless people because only one paycheck ruined them. And I've seen this in the past week with people who I am certain that after working at this evil court for more than 10 years felt like they had some stability, only to come in to work that day and to find that, sorry, but unfortunately, we don't need you anymore. In fact, this morning I got a call from HR because they had a person who was bothering them, right? A person that was hounding HR because the person needed to redirect a a last paycheck to the house where they lived at because the HR fired them and used the last known address as a place to send them their last paycheck. Well, they need that paycheck so desperately that they're willing to call HR and poke at them in order to get that paycheck as soon as possible because they sent it to the wrong house. And I had to tell HR that this is, I had to outline it in there because normally my job, it doesn't have anything to do with payroll. But since they didn't know who else to go, why not ask the guy that knows how to, that knows about logistics, right? I felt very bad for this person because I'm certain that the reason why they were practically begging HR and payroll to give them their check is because they had no idea what they were going to do. Remember, paycheck to paycheck means it has to be there or else bad things happen to you. And when it comes to alternative sources of income, everyone's already pushed to the brink. You know, I made that video on workplace. What was it called? It on the unemployment rate, the participation of people in the workforce. I don't think they take into consideration people who are working 3 or 4 jobs as being multi-employed. Because if you're working a job that doesn't pay your bills in 40 hours, I think you should count as more employed. But that's not true. As long as you're working 1 hour a week, they count you as fully employed. They don't care whether or not you can make a living on that job. As long as you have anything coming in, that's how they're going to treat you when it comes to statistics. Anyhow, I need to find something to do so I don't have to think. We all know what that is. I won't say it out loud, but I got to start doing that job right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully I will have enough energy in the morning to make a morning video.